Hey everybody, welcome to Cruise Chat Live tonight. I am Walter. I am a travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. And of course, we sell cruise, we sell all kinds of things. But tonight, we're going to be talking all things Carnival Cruises. I can't wait to start talking with Mark and Rocky. These guys are like the Carnival experts. And I'm so excited we can talk because we got so much to talk about. So many things happening with Carnival Cruises. So welcome to the show, everybody. But first, before we really get into things, I just want to let you know next week, we're going to be making this a regular thing now every Thursday. But next Thursday, join us. We've got Tony from Lalita Loca. We're going to talk cruising. Is that how you do it? Cruising. I think that's how you do it. I'm going to have to get Tony to show me cruising. But next Thursday at 8:30 p.m., once again, we're going to be back here and we're going to have Tony from Lalita Loca. But tonight, they look good in pictures. You know, they look even better in person. Why don't we bring them on? Mark and Rocky. I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up. Where are you guys? There you are. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Walter. We are doing great. Thank you. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you. Where's the dog? I thought we were going to see the dog. Hopefully the dog will make an appearance. We've got an hour. We've got a
full hour. Yes.
But so good to see you guys. If you all are not subscribed to this cruise life, make sure you subscribe. You're on YouTube, you're on TikTok. Where all are you guys?
We are on YouTube and TikTok. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook, Twitter.
We've got a Pinterest account, but we don't really understand how that works. But I mean that's fine.
I don't really understand Pinterest either. I think there's a lot of really cool pictures there, but I don't really know what's going on there.
And we have a website with a blog.
Oh, that's right. And thiscruiselife.com. That's right. That's thiscruiselife.com.
Thiscruiselife.com.
Yes.
Go there to find out more about Mark and Rocky and their amazing journeys. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys. I really do appreciate it. And as always, heard but never seen, my lovely wife, Rebecca, is sitting right off camera. I'm so excited. This has nothing to do with Carnival, but in November, we are actually going to get to meet face to face. I'm so excited.
It's going to be
going to be on Virgin Voyages of all places.
Yes. I mean, if not sooner, who knows? We may run into each other. It seems like we seem to run in the same circles.
I'm kind of hoping. You know, we're in the Orlando area, so next time you come down to Port Canaveral, maybe Tampa.
Yeah,
you know, we kind of get together. We're looking at the Carnival Pride, by the way. I saw she's in dry dock right now. She's coming over to Tampa after she does a med season. So we're kind of looking at the Carnival Pride early next year.
Nice.
It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. So let's start talking about Carnival. You guys are like the Carnival guys. So the first question of the night is a pretty obvious one. You know, why Carnival? When did you start sailing, and why do you keep coming back to this cruise line?
Well, honestly, Carnival has just been the easiest for us to be able to get onto. The pricing has been right in line with what we want to spend to get on our cruise vacations. I honestly started with Carnival because there was a wedding that I was going to be invited to be a part of. And that wedding took place on this cruise. And it happened to be Carnival, and it was an awesome experience. and I can't get away from it. It's been such an awesome experience to be with Carnival. Really great experiences. They take care of us as passengers. So yeah, that's my reason.
Yeah, the
Mark?
feeling of family. I know that we see that a lot. We hear that a lot from other fellow cruisers. Kind of that connection and feeling of family that Carnival creates. So I took my first cruise in 2014. So coming up on 10-year anniversary here next year. Well, minus that one little COVID year. 10-year anniversary coming up. I took my first cruise on the Carnival Glory and just. Absolutely fell in love with the style of vacation. I love unpacking once and not having to think about it again for the rest of the week. And then the crew. One of the things that just still blows my mind to this day is when I board a ship and I stop by Java Blue and the person that, the first day of the cruise, and that crew member behind Java Blue says, "Mr. Mark, caramel macchiato, extra caramel." Like, how they do that, it's magical. I don't know how they do it, but it is just a magical touch that I think Carnival kind of creates this feeling of family.
Yep.
Oh, that's really good. I mean, I think you've described so many cruise ships too that you kind of get that feeling of family. But I will say we've only done the Carnival Mardi Gras, and that crew was like beyond friendly. They were just,
oh yeah.
So guys, tell me, like, how many have you actually been on? You've been on quite a few Carnival cruises.
Yeah, I have done 14, I want to say, is my number with Carnival. So I've been on 16 cruises in total.
And I'm up to 45. We'll be crossing the 50. We'll be crossing the 50 mark with Carnival here. Hopefully this year. We'll see what still gets booked the rest of this year. If not this year, early next year. So almost a year on the sea with Carnival at this point, which is just, it's amazing to think from that first cruise that I didn't even want to go on to almost a year at sea.
Wow. Well, hey, everybody who's joining in over in the comments there. If you've got questions about Carnival, you just heard these guys. That's like 60 some Carnival cruises between the two of you. Yep. You guys definitely know Carnival. Now, I think it's very interesting because for me, when I kind of go on to the same cruise ship, like maybe 3 times, or the same cruise line like 3 times, like, okay, I need a change. I kind of need something else. How do you just like, you keep coming back to that cruise line? How does it not, I don't want to say get boring, but how does it not get old to you guys?
I'll speak kind of from my first couple of years with Carnival. Carnival, every ship, Joe Farkas was their architect or designer of those ships, and every ship had its own unique theme. And his whole point behind the designing of the ships was to create another world. He wanted cruising to, we have the day-to-day of our lives. He wanted to create another world. And checking out new ships and seeing what they were completely different. They were completely different from each other. Now, starting in 2012, 2013, Carnival started rolling out some of the standardization, the fleet standardization as part of their 2.0 upgrade program, where that brought in Blue Iguana, Cantina, the Red Frog, Rum Bar, some of those key staples that now Carnival is known for. But I'll tell you, in those early years, it was like sailing with a new cruise line every single time because those ships were just so different.
Yeah, they were. They're super neat design that you can't find anywhere else. So it was really cool. It always kept you moving. You're always looking for what things did Joe hide in this corner of the ship that you didn't know existed? Or what about this new venue that you didn't know was there? And you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much design in here. It's so rich. And that's what kind of kept us.
And what's really neat, Walter, we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago. What's really neat is even with the new Excel class ships, Mardi Gras, Celebration, Jubilee, there are unique zones, unique neighborhoods, whatever you call them in your terminology, viewers' terminology. There are unique zones that create that newness again every time that you sail on the ship, which that excites us. We get really excited to discover new spaces on a ship.
Yep.
I'm really excited about what Carnival's been doing with, I thought the French Quarter was kind of cool, but it just kind of felt like a little bit of wasted space. And then the terminal, they added the windows, and now the Jubilee, all that stuff. But we're going to talk about the Jubilee later. But I do like the evolution and the changes coming up. Very, very cool. Now, I was about to ask a question, but controversial cruising beat me to it. What is your favorite? I mean, do you have, because everybody always asks me, hey, Walt, what's your favorite ship? And I honestly don't have one. I mean, I just love cruising. I just love being on a cruise ship. But if you could pick, a favorite, is there one?
I know Rocky's answer, but I'll let him. I'll let him share as I take a sip.
Yeah.
As he thinks, wait, where's my wine? Darn it, I don't have my wine. Go ahead. Sorry, Rocky.
I would say that my favorite ship, just based on number of times that I've been on her, the number of nights that I've sailed, would be my very first cruise ship ever, the Carnival Splendor.
It's a great ship.
She is
never forget your first.
Yeah, she's the pink polka dotted zebra printed black tile lime green grout. There is so much going on in that ship, and I am there for it. I love that ship.
Yeah, great ship.
It
is a great ship. It is my most sailed ship as well. The Carnival Splendor. My favorite, though, it has to, again, Walter, to your point, you always remember your first ship. I remember walking in Miami to the terminal for the first time, and the Carnival Glory came into view. And I just remember looking up and up and up and thinking, this is not at all what I was expecting. And just that memory of that first time cruising. I've been on the Glory. Glory is my second most sailed ship, although some of the Vista class from Carnival are chasing Panorama's in our backyard here in Long Beach, and so it makes it easier to get on. But
wow,
Glory for me.
Wow. Yeah, for us it was the Caribbean Princess, because Rebecca was a huge fan of the Love Boat. So that
I love that.
Had to be the Love Boat. In fact, our first three were all on Princess. So and the Carnival, the Caribbean Princess was just announced coming to Port Canaveral next year for Thanksgiving, guys. Thanksgiving 2024.
Hey,
out of Port Canaveral, Caribbean Princess.
You seem to be doing Thanksgiving on a different line.
Think about it. So
Carnival Dream.
This is kind of cool. Aaron, thanks for popping in. He just ran into Ben, David, and Steph in Vancouver. They just finished an epic, boy, guys, you guys would love this. And I saw Carnival actually has a similar itinerary. They did the Hawaiian Islands, and then the ship went up to Alaska and did a full Alaska itinerary. That was on the NCL Spirit. Absolutely amazing. So Aaron, I'm glad you ran into those guys. We're waiting to see Steph. We can't wait to have dinner with her. Controversial Cruising is saying that it's the Dream for them. The Carnival Dream is their favorite ship. How about that?
How does one pack for an Alaskan and Hawaii cruise together?
So carefully, layers. First of all, so it was the second leg of a repositioning. She was coming up from Australia all the way to Vancouver for the season.
Yep.
And so they broke it up into two legs. And you pack in layers. And there's that 3-in-1 jacket that I've done a couple videos on that's just so important for Alaska, because it's the only jacket you're going to need up there. So you just got to pack in layers. Just got to pack in layers.
Tips and tricks right here.
But I think it's Scott, if I remember correctly. Scott's saying that it's the Dream. Have you guys been on the Dream?
I have not.
Dream class, yeah. So sister Carnival Magic. The Dream and the Breeze are definitely two more of the ships that. So eventually we want to be able to get on each of the Carnival ships. The challenge is some of the ships only run 3 and 4 night sailings, and we typically 3 and 4 nights is just so short for us, especially because we have to fly anywhere that we go, and so we try to stick with the 7+ itineraries, but. We've talked about doing back-to-back, so that adds up to 7 days when you stay on the ship.
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah. Back-to-back on the ship, or you could do a side-by-side too. You can knock out 2 ships in 1 week too. Do that. Bill Duff is saying it's the Carnival Legend, and that was his first ship.
That's a great ship.
Legend.
Yes.
The Legend of Carnival. Yeah. Well, how is that ship? I mean, so like for people who have never been on the Carnival cruise lines, I'm kind of jumping ahead in our conversation just a little bit, but how would a guest say start picking their first Carnival ship? Because they are different. We've got smaller classes, we've got larger classes, we've got newer ships, we've got older ships. We were just talking about the Carnival Pride is in dry dock right now. She's going to come out basically a brand new ship when she comes out, but she's actually one of the oldest, if not the oldest, in the fleet right now. She's not the oldest anymore. She's one of the oldest. Rebecca's just shaking her head off camera. But for people who have never been on Carnival, what would be some of your thoughts about, hey, picking your first Carnival ship if you want to try this cruise line?
Well, I think a lot of it depends on what you're looking for. If you've been on a cruise before and you're accustomed to doing those 7+ night cruises, that's going to be your go-to with Carnival. We kind of have the same thought process of when you go on a Carnival cruise, you're going to get what you put into it and what you expect to get out of it. A lot of people think that Carnival is just a nonstop party boat all the time. And it can be if that's what you look for. But we actually enjoy laying out in Serenity, which is the adults only area, where it's actually pretty quiet. You don't have to deal with the crowds up there, the kids. And then there's deck parties that you can go to or you don't have to go to. So I think that there's a lot of flexibility when you book with Carnival. And it's great for the entire family, especially if you do have kids, because they're going to be entertained all hours of the day. And you don't have to see them if you don't want to. That's the best part of it, right?
Yeah, we don't have any kids. We don't care. Just let them go do whatever.
Right.
Have you guys been on the Pride? We were literally just talking about that. It is in Kate. I think Cadiz. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, Cadiz, right now. Yeah, it's
Cadiz,
right there with the Venezia, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. So
side by side.
The
Pride is in dry dock.
Stripped down.
Yeah, so, the Pride is in dry dock, and Venezia is in water still.
It's in the water, yeah. So she's ready. She's waiting for Mark, but we'll talk about that in a second. But have you guys actually sailed the Pride? I mean, can you say anything on that one?
She's on the bucket list. Great class of ships.
Yep, we've been on the Legend. He's been, and we've both been on the Miracle. Both sisters to the Pride.
Both sisters to the Pride. So great ship, great layout. What they're likely doing in this dry dock is ripping out the casino bar like they've done on her sisters. They're installing all of the latest and greatest Carnival upgrades, and it's just a great ship. The layout is great. The flow of the ship is great. Kind of going back to that question, Walter, of how do you pick your first cruise ship? I think I always encourage folks to think about, where do you want to sail from? Like, think about where you want to sail from and where you want to sail to, because you're right. That itinerary, I'm biased here. I realize it. My first itinerary was Western Caribbean, but there was something magical about swimming with stingrays and checking out Cozumel for the first time. We've been back to Cozumel 100 times since. But getting to check out some of those places that you only see in postcards and pictures. So where do you want to sail from? Kind of, what are some of the ports of call that you want to look for? And then honestly, if price point. So the newer ships, pretty much in any fleet, the newer ships can be significantly higher in the price point. And so how big is the group that you're going with? Are you bringing the whole family? So price point can make an impact when you are looking at older versus the newer ships. So a couple of just different tips that we suggest when we're talking to folks about picking the right ship, itinerary, and cruise for them.
Yeah, and you certainly can't argue with the price point. I mean, the price point is there. I will say the one cabin that I really, really want to try, and I saw Ben and David had this on the Transatlantic, is that Cove balcony right down by the water. That looks so freaking cool. Yeah, I have to say, just to have a balcony that's literally like, it looks like you can just reach out. Hey, you could go fishing, but then you'll be kicked off. But I mean, that looks like such a cool. I don't know of any other cruise line that has a balcony like that freaking close to the water. It looks absolutely amazing. So and Nurse Tara, by the way, yeah, you're right. It will be coming out of Baltimore, and I think that I know the Pride is coming out of Tampa as well. That's what we're going to sail on her, I hope. Here's always a great question, right? What's your favorite specialty dining on Carnival? This is a loaded question right here. And I know you're about to try the new one, Mark, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so far, what's your favorite?
If we're talking specialty upcharge, then I'm going to go with Gigi Asian Kitchen. What an awesome experience. We actually enjoyed Gigi for Mark's birthday this last year on the Horizon. And they just made it such a unique experience. And the price point is very reasonable, and you get a very good, healthy portion of food. It was great. We got doggy bags. I don't know why we got doggy bags on a cruise ship. We didn't eat another bite of that food the rest. I feel bad. Our room smelled horrible for the rest of that cruise. We walked in and it smelled like Chinese.
They tried to do that to us with a Zoomy when we had all the sushi, and we're like, but this is the last day of the cruise. What are we going to do with that? Okay, Mark.
I was
Mark?
going between Gigi and Bonsai Sushi. I mean, that sushi boat for two on Bonsai Sushi that comes with your miso soup, and it comes with your multiple rolls and sashimi, and it comes with the salad, and it is just. Sushi to me, I'm always hungry. I'm like, okay, now what's for food? But this sushi. Oh, how do I get into this? There we go. This sushi boat, it's just huge, and so. It's between Gigi and Bonsai Sushi in terms of specialty upcharge restaurants. Like Rocky said, if it's an upcharge restaurant, those are the other specialty restaurant introduced on the Excel class, so Mardi Gras celebration, Chabang, the Mexican Chinese fusion restaurant is probably our favorite. I would say probably our favorite in the fleet.
Yes.
So we've only been on one so far, and it was the Mardi Gras. But I had one of the best meals I've ever had on a cruise ship, and that was Rudy Sea Grill. That was absolutely freaking phenomenal. And at the time that we went, it was only like $38 per person. I think it's now 47 or whatever it is, but it's still totally worth it for that meal. So if you guys haven't done Rudy Sea Grill yet, oh my God, got to do Rudy.
Good to know.
Got to do Rudy Sea Grill. Samuel is saying that he likes the Vista, the Havana area. Now, I've heard a lot of discussion about the Havana area, Vista versus Excel, and it seems like a lot of people really like the way it's on the Vista class. It's like a more of a complete area versus just like a shelf sitting off to the side.
Absolutely, we've heard the same thing, Walter. The feedback on what they've done to Havana on Excel class, people just have not loved it. Havana area on the Vista class ships, just a fantastic, super exciting. The space, the dedicated venue, it's a beautiful space. We've always wanted to book. You've wanted to book the Cove balcony. I've always wanted to book one of those lanais that has the patio and
Havana Cabana.
The Havana Cabana.
Yeah.
Havana Cabana.
It's just fun to say.
That would be a cool stateroom for us.
Oh, I love it. So maybe we'll just do it. If we get adjoining Havana Cabanas, that would be kind of cool.
We could be neighbors.
Right?
That would be fun.
I think that would be like totally awesome, man. I would just reach over and go, do you have any Grey Poupon? Oh my God. Nurse Tara's going to be sailing from Baltimore, which is awesome. So she's impressed with all. I'll tell you what, the complimentary food on the Excel class is ridiculous. It's just so much food. So much food. If you go hungry on an Excel class, holy crap, you worked hard at it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. We say that in one of our videos. We're shocked that anyone can say that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something we were talking about the other day, which is misconceptions and myths, because, we've all seen the TikToks, we've all seen the short videos, people getting into fights, and it's usually a Carnival ship, even though it has nothing to do with Carnival, even though that very same week, about 2 million people were out on a cruise, but these two people happen to be fighting. So let's all talk about that. But let's talk about some misconceptions and myths that maybe, you've heard about. And one of them, I think you touched on it a little bit. Oh, Carnival is just a big party ship. So, what are some of the myths and misconceptions that you guys have had to debunk?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen the videos. Our friends, of course, text us and say, "Hey, another fight breaks out." Christine Duffy, president of Carnival Cruise Lines, even came out and said, "Hey, we're coming into spring break, and we've beefed up security, we've beefed up video surveillance. By the way, those Excel class ships, everywhere you look, there's a camera. We've beefed up, drug sniffing dogs, all of those sorts of things. They came out to address because quite honestly, the court of public opinion is against Carnival. What I would say is where we typically see that happening is on those 2-day, 3-day weekend, kind of what we call the booze cruises. And now there is a market for those cruises for sure. But like we talked about the other day, when we sailed on the Imagination, may she rest in pieces. When we sailed on the Imagination for a 3-day cruise, people were literally getting onto that ship drunk. And so they were already well on their way. And so we don't personally sail a lot of the 3 and 4 days, as mentioned earlier, which is why we've missed out on some of the other ships, because that's not, believe it or not, that's not really our scene. even though we're toasting here, that's not necessarily our scene. But I would say, to your point, Walter, 2 million people sailing in that week and 2 people fighting, and suddenly it's the entire industry that has the black eye. And you unfortunately see that behavior more and more, as Christine even says, in the supermarkets, at the movie theaters, wherever you go. But you notice that we don't say all supermarkets are suddenly bad and you got to ban all supermarkets. And so it's an interesting, maybe sometimes, I don't know if we've ever seen this before to the cruise industry, a double standard with how others might be treated.
No, I don't think we've ever seen that in the cruise industry. Nothing happened a couple years ago.
No, not at all.
When the entire world turned into a cruise ship, when all the hand sanitizer started showing up everywhere, and I'm like, oh, we've been doing this for 20 years on cruise ships.
Yep.
But to your point, I mean, we were on a 3-day Royal Caribbean cruise, and that was a Las Vegas weekend, because people are only on the ship for 2 or 3 nights, and man, I'm going to get my money's worth out of these 2 or 3 nights.
Oh yeah.
Whereas when you're on it for a week, you kind of got to pace yourself. You just got to pace yourself. And when people are trying to get everything they can out of 2 or 3 nights, I mean, in Las Vegas, there must be 10, 15 fights every single night, but people keep going on to Las Vegas all the time. So I definitely think Carnival is unfairly picked on sometimes.
Yes.
Because it's not just them.
Las Vegas is a blast, like as is a 2 or 3 day cruise, as long as you kind of go into it with that mentality. One of my coworkers, actually, she took her first cruise and it was a 3-day Ensenada cruise. And she said, I don't need to cruise. She's like, I don't know what you see in cruising. It was loud and there was music. Like, it was just obnoxious the whole time. And I was like, we lost.
I got to get you on a longer one. Let's see. Here's a good question. Actually, are there any new ships coming out in the near future besides ship changing from Costa to Carnival? There's a really, really big one coming out, like big. I guess we should just talk about it now. We'll jump ahead. I'm going to put the graphic up while we talk about this. I think. Let's see if I can get it on the screen there. Let's see. There she is. Yes, it's called the Carnival Jubilee, and it is the 3rd in the XL class. She's only 185,000 gross tons. She can take 5,300 guests. Normal, she's got 1,700 crews. She's supposed to launch on December 23rd. She's not doing a transatlantic. She's just going to come over quietly and then start right in Galveston, Texas. So, guys, what do you want to say about the Jubilee?
We are so excited for her. So excited, in fact, that we're booked on her inaugural.
No.
Yes,
you are
indeed.
not.
We sure are.
Word.
I know. Shocker.
My word.
Shocker.
Yeah, total shocker that you guys would be booked on a Carnival ship on the inaugural. That's amazing, guys. Christmas.
Yeah, it is over Christmas. So originally the inaugural was in October, and I do feel bad if you were watching this and you were on the original inaugural and it was canceled due to shipbuilder delays. I'm sorry, but it did allow us to get on the show. You're not
sorry at all, Mark. Come on, Mark. You're not sorry at all. Look, see, Rocky's laughing. You're not sorry at all. You're like, I'm so sorry. This is why I say never book the inaugural, because especially after the pandemic, like you're about 30% that ship's actually going to go. So yeah, but wow, Christmas inaugural, that's going to be insanity.
Yeah, I think the week after is going to also be insanity, with it being New Year's.
New Year's, yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's quite a kick-off for a brand new ship.
I had a lot of friends on the Mardi Gras, and the celebration last year, so now we can add the Jubilee in. But let's talk about the Jubilee. So she's got some new zones. We've got that whole current zone. So what was the French Quarter, what was the terminal, it's now called current. And it's essentially, they put the LED panels up on top. You've still got those screens up on the windows there. The fortune teller is some sort of octopus bar. So we got some really cool stuff going on now.
Yes. Yeah. So Currents is a beautiful space. They are taking some design elements out of the celebration, because the Mardi Gras didn't really have a lot of the technology in the French Quarter, but on the celebration in the why can't I think of the name of the space? In the gateway, in the gateway, they did introduce a lot of those LED screens and
the windows to the sea, those LED windows to the sea.
It's really, really cool. And that bar that you mentioned, Walter, Dr. Inks. I mean,
Clever.
It's going to be a good time.
Clever.
It's going to be a great time. I love the evolution. You know, like I said, when I walked in, I thought the French Quarter was kind of nice. I will say the fortune teller bar blew me away because I thought it was going to be a gimmick, but it turned out to be a really, really good bar. But I just love that. You know, it's kind of ironic. Do we really want to be under the sea while we're on a cruise ship? Wrong signal. But I absolutely love the evolution. Rebecca loves those fish that are on the stairway. That whole fish sculpture thing. Oh my God.
How cool
She's
is that?
gonna be a beautiful ship.
You come up from under the sea, the 3-story fish spiral. You come up from under the sea to the shores. And you've got the boardwalk inspired kind of 8th deck 8 up there, where you've got the new pizzeria, the new bar, the new deli, hot dogs. The beach buns.
Yeah. Beach buns.
We're excited. We are super excited for the show.
I think I'm more excited. I was really excited when the celebration came out and I saw that gateway terminal area. But then when I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get to Galveston. It looks like so much fun. Now, the one thing I didn't look up is Carnival building a new terminal, because she's going to need LNG to operate. So are they actually building a new terminal? I haven't looked that up.
I thought I remember something about them doing some new terminal work in Galveston so that the Jubilee could dock there.
Yes.
Okay.
To your point exactly, Walter. This is the Carnival Cruise Line's 3rd LNG ship. She needs some unique capacities to be able to sail, and she's just giant. She's kind of dwarfs her sister. Her sisters are a little bit small compared to her.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's kind of cool. Congrats to Galveston. I mean, they've got the Oasis class from Royal Caribbean.
Right.
The Viva is going to be coming in there at some point from Norwegian. Now we've got the Jubilee coming in. I mean, they've got some big ships coming in, and good for them. You know, it's kind of nice that the middle of the country, you know, you don't necessarily have to fly to Florida. You don't necessarily have to fly to Long Beach, or LA. You can now start going into Galveston, and there's some really good cruise ships coming out of there that I think are going to create just almost like a renaissance, I think, for the middle of the country there.
Yeah, absolutely. Our friends from JNS Adventures, they are based out of Galveston, based out of Texas, and they're like, hey, this is in our backyard. We are getting some of the biggest, baddest, boldest ships in the industry just right here, you know, up the street from us. And we just aren't getting a lot of those in Phoenix.
Gee, really? Wow, that's a shame.
It's a shame.
You know, I wonder why. They're not sending any ships to Phoenix yet.
I tell you.
We should work on that. We should call Christine right now and ask her.
We should.
What do you think?
Can we get her on the line?
She might be watching. We don't know. She might be watching.
Oh, look at this. We got somebody going on the celebration. Samuel is headed on the celebration. Oh, you lucky duck. That is so awesome.
It's a great ship. You're going to love it.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Celebration. Yeah, I haven't been on it yet, but I've been on a Mardi Gras. All I can say is pace yourself with Shack Chicken. Is all I'm going to say. You will get yourself in serious trouble if you do not pace yourself with Shack Chicken.
It is true. It is true.
Hey, look at this. I forgot. Controversial Cruising. He's in Phoenix.
Hey,
got a neighbor.
Controversial Cruising?
You got a neighbor out there. Nice. Welcome to the party.
Yes.
Awesome.
There's at least 2 of us that would be demanding a new ship.
Yeah.
See? Where is the ship? You know, I have to believe with everything going on that an Icon class will get there sooner or later. You know, obviously the Icon's going to be in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's the second one going to go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Did it go to Texas? I don't know. I think that could be really interesting. So we've been kind of alluding to it a little bit. Now I want to talk about, I know, Mark, you're like totally pumped up, excited. You're eating terrible Italian food. I'm going to try to fix that one of these days for you. But we've been alluding to it, and we are now having Carnival Fun Italian style. The Venice class, I love this. The Venice class is joining the fleet. And why is this so exciting for you, Mark?
Oh gosh, you know, Costa has some beautiful ships. So sister brand to Carnival Cruise Lines, Costa introduced several Vista class ships to their fleet, and it's specific for the Chinese market. As those who love the cruise industry may know, Chinese market really hasn't rebounded for cruising. And so Carnival Cruise Line has made the decision to bring those over to the namesake brand and really convert them into Carnival Italian style fun.
Yeah.
And so the designs of these ships are unlike anything we've seen. But I mean, they actually are they remind me a little of Joe Farkas in the early days, because they've got beautiful gold statues and marble pillars and columns and pergolas, a pergola bar. They are the same ship as the Carnival Vista, the Horizon, the Panorama. Vista. Oh, did I say Vista, Horizon, Panorama? I'm drinking the Chianti. It's the same ship layout. It just looks completely different. And so I'm just super excited to check out the Venezia for her inaugural here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. So Mark, he just kind of slipped that in at the end. Mark, you're actually flying over to Europe. I'm going to bring you back up on screen because you got to tell us about this. So you are flying to Europe and you are going to be sailing the Venezia all the way into New York City.
It's my first transatlantic. I don't know fully what to expect. Will we have internet? We're going to go live a couple of times through the week just to be able to talk about the ship. Maybe we're going to go live. Rocky might be the one leading the conversation from Phoenix, but so Rocky is unfortunately not able to join because it's a 3-week commitment. It's a challenge to do a transatlantic sailing. So we fly into Barcelona. We're there a couple of days prior to the sailing, and then hop on the ship right away. And then it is Malaga, it is Lisbon, it is Gibraltar, it is the Azores,
Halifax.
I mean, there are some really, really neat ports to be able to experience on this. And so I'm excited. We're going to be sharing a ton of content, obviously, about the ship and about the experience. The Carnival they've spent the last several months, quite honestly, retrofitting and keeping a lot of the theming right, because it is that Italian style fun. They want to keep that theming, but really bringing in some of the favorites from Carnival Cruise Lines.
Yeah. I mean, I got her up on the screen right now, and I love that they kept the yellow funnel. I think that's fantastic. I love the yellow trim, as a nod to her Costa. And I'm really glad, she kind of reminds me of the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. Some of the stuff that I saw inside, I'm like, oh, that kind of reminds me of the Venetian. She's definitely different than anything else out there.
Absolutely. And she is modeled after which city in France?
Venice,
Italy. That's what I was like. Let me just take Chianti.
Oh, wow. Hey, J&S Adventure is going to be on the celebration with Samuel. Hey, that's pretty cool, guys. You guys should start talking offline and have plans to meet up on the ship.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That is totally awesome. So at first I wasn't too sure what to make of this Costa by Carnival. I'm like, oh gosh, they're going to muck it all up. They're going to screw this whole thing up. But it seems like, and I know one of the things that you're really excited about, Mark, one, they are keeping a lot of that Italian styling. So it's almost like an adult, like Carnival's grown up, right? It's almost like an adult ship, right?
Yeah.
But now they're introducing that new Italian restaurant. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? I know you're really excited about it.
Il Viaggio. Well, depends on Google Translate says Viago. We'll learn. We'll learn when we're on the ship. One of their newest upcharge restaurants. So when the ship was announced in December, when Venezia was announced in December, Christine said, fun to be revealed in this space. It was going to be a new Italian concept, the Cucina del Capitano that we've seen on ever since the Vista, the Vista Class, Dream Class, some of the dreams. The Cucina del Capitano Italian restaurant has become free on Mardi Gras celebration on the XL Class. And so when they announced this, they said Cucina del Capitano will be on the ship, but she'll be making appearances in the main dining room. You'll be able to rotate different dishes from Cucina del Capitano each night, and they'll be introducing a new specialty restaurant on this ship. And so we speculated when you make a restaurant free on multiple ships in your fleet, it's hard to really set that restaurant on a new ship. It's really hard to say, hey, come and pay for this restaurant. Let alone increase the price point. And so that's what we've seen with Il Viaggio is Carnival's price point for upcharge restaurants used to be $15. $15, you don't find an upcharge restaurant on any cruise ship for $15. You just don't. And so this
Johnny Rockets, that's about it.
Johnny Rockets, yes. This restaurant will have a price point of $42, which makes sense that they've had to introduce a new brand and kind of a new vibe for this in order to be able to adjust or reset kind of that pricing.
Mm-hmm. That's in line with Sabatini's, on Princess. That's in line with the Crown Grill. In fact, I think Crown Grill might be a little bit more. But as long as the payoff is there, and it should be, right? This is a Costa heritage, even though Carnival's taking it over, it's still got an Italian heritage to it. So hopefully this is going to work out. But yeah, I don't think the price point is outrageous by any means. It's actually somewhat low compared to some of the other restaurants that we've eaten in of late.
It really is. And if you think about kind of the Carnival experience, that's been the theme of Carnival, ever since I started sailing in 2014, is that's kind of the reputation. They want to be accessible to as many people as possible, and accessible to families and all of those sorts of things. And so that price point has always been a bit lower, but post-COVID, I think we're going to see that continue to evolve. We've seen it. We've seen it with Kachina. We've seen it with Gigi's. We've seen it with Bonsai. We've seen it with all the special. Steakhouse has gone up significantly. We've seen it with all of their specialty dining. I anticipate we will continue to see those changes as it kind of normalizes in terms of what the consumer is willing to pay for an upcharge restaurant on Carnival.
Okay. Yeah. And everybody just say goodnight to Rebecca. She's leaving. She's leaving the party. I know you can't see her, but good night, Rebecca.
We'll see you in November, Rebecca.
Yes.
Yes, they said they'll see you in November. Yes, we will all drink a cocktail together. Now, this is a great question, even though obviously you guys haven't been on the Firenze or the Venezia yet. They're interested in the movement of the ship. And I guess, like you said, what is basically a Vista class, right?
It is. Yeah. So right now, it looks like the Firenze is currently doing normal sailings. She was just doing Brazil off the coast of South America, and she recently made her transition over to the Mediterranean for the summer. From what I can tell, it looks like she's going to continue doing that until she perhaps enters the dry dock session. From there, I think she's going to follow a same trajectory that the Panorama did when the Panorama moved over to Los Angeles. She did a very long route around the southern South Cape Horn of South America without passengers. So I think they are going to do kind of a similar route for the Firenze, where they're going to do.
You don't think they send her through the Panama Canal?
No, they don't take them through the Panama. I don't think that they fit, or maybe they didn't. Maybe when the Panorama came out, it wasn't able to.
That was just 2019.
Yeah, so they've got the new locks. I would think.
Yeah, but
maybe
it could be the cost of going through the canal, because they're still getting charged the berth rate since they have so many beds, even though they don't have passengers.
That's true.
So
wouldn't that be a cool cruise though, to go around Cape Horn in a big old cruise ship?
Yes, please.
Oh, come on.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd have to quit my job, but yes, please.
That's okay.
Christine, if you're watching, come on, open that cruise up. Let's do it. Carnival Journey Extreme.
Carnival Journey's Extreme.
65 days on Carnival. Can you make it? Whatever.
Yes,
that would be awesome. We'll have to keep an eye on that. See what they're actually going to do. But I didn't realize that the Panorama went all the way around. That is a long haul to get around. But what a cool cruise that would make if they stopped along the way in South America. That would be amazing.
It would be an amazing sailing. I do, Walter. I think we're on to something. I think that's a one-day sellout if they offered that, because
no doubt
people would be so into that. That is truly amazing. Thanks for the question. I love it. So we've talked about the Venezia a little bit. We talked about the Firenze a little. Well, actually, I don't know that we really talked about the Firenze all that much. I'll go ahead and put her up on screen. But she's going to be based in Long Beach. This is actually what she looks like right now. Before she gets painted, she's still the Costa Firenze in these colors here. But I do love that Carnival is retaining that yellow funnel. I think it's a very classic look. And again, it does separate the ships. When you see them in port, it does separate the ships out. Now, this one is only 135,000 gross tons versus the Jubilee, 4,100 guests, 1,400 crew. She's scheduled to launch May 2nd in 2024, and she will be home ported in Long Beach with the first cruise out of Long Beach being May 5th. Now, what's really cool about that is the Queen Mary Hotel just reopened right there. So you could do your pre-cruise hotel on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Literally walk to the ship, like from your ship.
That sounds like
totally awesome. So when are you guys going on this ship?
We'll be on the launch on the 2nd of May. And we'll be staying on board for that first cruise on the 5th of May.
Wow, you guys are not wasting any time.
No.
We're trying not to. I refer to that second cruise as inaugural junior. So we're doing the inaugural and inaugural junior. I'm trying to convince Rocky to stay on for another week. That way it makes it 2 weeks because they're 4 and 5 days. Those first 2 cruises, or
those are 2 5s.
2 5s,
I think
right?
the 4 is the following.
4th
week.
is the 3rd week is the 4-day. And so I'm trying to convince him, it's just a back-to-back, if we were on 2 weeks. And so super excited for that ship. I mean, both of the ships are going to have their unique things. Yeah. Firenze is a Florence. Venezia is for Venice, and Firenze was designed to represent Florence. And so unique concepps and designs that were designed to bring Florence to the cruise market.
Gotcha. Yep. So do you know offhand what some of the differences are between the 2 ships? I don't know a little bit. To put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But
we know a little bit.
We may have put out a video for the Venezia, and we have one coming out tomorrow for the Firenze, actually.
Where we literally
there you go. On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yep. That's at This Cruise Life.
At This Cruise Life, and that's why I've had it on the screen the whole time. So make sure you subscribe to At This Cruise Life. So can you just give it a few highlights of what some of the cool things that are different about the Firenze versus the Venezia?
Yeah, can I talk about one of the big changes?
I know what you're going to say.
Just do one. Everybody will have to watch your video to see the rest, but just give us one.
Yeah.
So the Vista class, one of our favorite restaurants that we talked about was Gigi's Asian Kitchen. They have eliminated Gigi's Asian Kitchen and Cucina del Capitano, that space above Lido. They have ripped those out altogether and put in a basketball court. And so that is just a wild change. Now, don't worry. They've added a couple of additional dining establishments, upcharge establishments down on deck 5. So there's still plenty to eat on the ship, but that is one of the biggest design changes.
Yeah.
So it's an indoor court?
Outdoor court. Outdoor court.
Oh, it's an outdoor court. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I would say one of the biggest differences between the Venezia and the Firenze is the aft dining room, actually. So on the Venezia, it's Venice. So you got the Grand Canal. You have this giant body of water with a canal boat sitting in the middle of it. And when you look at the Firenze, it's not. It's Florence. It's the Florence Square. And it's just this whole different vibe between the 2 ships.
Nice.
Really?
So everybody make sure you are subscribed to these guys, because you just said you're going to be on both ships. So if you want to know what these ships are all about, and this is why I brought you guys on tonight, because you guys are my Carnival experts. You're amazing that you're always on there. But that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
We're super excited.
It was when I saw the Venezia, that's when I said, wow, this looks like, the Venetian out in Las Vegas. Now it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Quick question from Samuel here. He's asking if the Panorama is going to be moving out of Long Beach. Have you heard anything about that?
The only thing that I've heard of with the Panorama is that she's going to be heading over to Singapore for dry dock here in the next few months. I can't remember what the time frame was.
Singapore, that's an interesting place for dry dock.
It is, and it's a very long itinerary. They're kind of doing the northern arch, going up through Alaska and dropping down through Tokyo. Nice. So definitely an interesting itinerary. It's like a 30+ day itinerary.
We've seen a couple of dry docks now in Singapore.
We have, yeah. The Splendor went out there.
The Splendor, there have been a couple of Singapore dry docks now. Yeah, now that I think about it.
But to my knowledge, she's going to remain home ported in Long Beach. I haven't heard any changes. They're still going to want to keep 3 ships in Long Beach, I feel. And with the Miracle, if I remember correctly, the Miracle is going to be making her way over to the either Tampa or Port Canaveral direction next year. So they're going to want to find a replacement, or at least have all 3 ships still sailing out of Long Beach. And the Firenze is going to be doing those short 4s and 5s, whereas the Panorama will continue doing her 7s down the coast.
But I think it's a great question because Panorama debuted in 2019 in Long Beach. And so, again, we had that little span of time that we don't talk about. But she will have been in Long Beach since 2019. So, again, I think because of the pandemic, Carnival isn't like they're not hankering to move her quite yet.
Yeah.
But it's something to watch out for because they could very easily swap a Vista class to introduce, bring the Vista over or bring a Dream class over and swap that out. That would be a really easy swap and it would bring newness to the market. So maybe not this coming year, but I think probably in the next couple of years.
And she is actually the largest Vista class ship, to be honest. I don't think a lot of people realize that there's actually one that's a little bit bigger than all the rest, and she is the one. And yeah, like if they wanted to introduce her to the Caribbean market and bring her over to Florida, suddenly they'd have another new ship to bring in. It's going to be nice that she's going in, though. So now she's going to get her blue livery. That really is nice. I will say it's nice because you've got so many white ships, although now you don't have so many white ships anymore. It seems like we've got gray, we've got blue, and so many ships that are being painted.
Yeah.
But I think the Carnival ships look that much better. With the blue livery.
Walter, it's funny because when they first did the blue livery, I was like, what are they thinking? This isn't when they announced it with Mardi Gras. What are they thinking? This isn't Carnival at all. And then you see it in person and you're like, wow, this looks like a new cruise ship.
It does. It's sharp. And I will say one of my knocks on Carnival all this time is they don't really seem to take care of the outside of the ship. Some of them pull in the older ship, you're like, wow, that ship is rusty. But now with this new paint scheme, they seem to be like, you know what? We're going to keep these ships looking good now. And they seem to be building a little more effort in making sure that we touch up the paint at every port and things like that. So now Samuel's asking if you've actually been on the Panorama. Have you guys been on that ship? I'm sure you have.
Multiple. Panorama is, I think, my second or third most sailed ship is the Panorama. Just again, she's in our backyard here in Long Beach. So an American flight or a Southwest flight is, real quick.
Yep.
And then actually in my first time on Panorama was in September of 21. So shortly after resumption of cruising, I got an offer for $100 for the week. On a balcony on deck 9. And literally while I was on with Carnival, I was like, let me see what the flights look like. Yes, I can make that work for a solo cruise. Cause I couldn't find, this was on Wednesday, I think, and the sailing was Saturday. I couldn't find anyone that short notice to go with. So for $100 for the week, that's probably my favorite cruise of all time, just because of the story that's associated with it. But Panorama is an amazing ship. I would highly recommend.
Now, I haven't been on the Panorama yet, but we're actually going to be sailing on her for my birthday here in July of this year. It's kind of a big birthday for me, so big celebration.
21.
21. So excited to be on the Panorama with close friends.
Oh, that is truly awesome. Now, Mark, you do have my phone number now, so the next time that happens, just give me a call. I just might jump on a ship with you. You never know.
Fantastic.
So Controversial Cruising actually asked, and I do have a picture of her, any curiosity to sail the Luminosa? And the one thing I will say, I know this is going to be controversial. I know people are going to hate me, but I absolutely love that funnel. I just think that funnel is so freaking cool.
It's a cool funnel, and coming soon, it's going to be the only one of its kind because they're going to be refurbishing the Carnival Freedom to have her whale tail
back. Yeah.
But yes, we do. We followed the Luminosa when she was first announced and did an entire comparative video on that ship. And we love her. She's a gorgeous ship. She actually retains even more of the Joe Farkas designs than these new Venice class ships that are coming over.
With that big Buddha statue.
The Buddha statue in the atrium. What a strange design. But you know what? That's classic.
Weird, but
we are very excited.
At least they don't have to remove him for the dangly bits like they're doing on the Firenze or the Venezia. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Poor David. What I think is really interesting, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I think is really interesting that this is actually a hybrid.
Yes.
They call it a Spirit Vista hybrid. It's like it's got elements of both classes in this one ship. So she's truly a unique ship in the fleet.
Yeah, so that Vista actually doesn't call to the Carnival Vista brand. It actually calls to the Holland America brand of class of ships. So Holland America has a very similar design where they have these pop outs and then the parts where it goes in. And that's what they call the Vista class. So this is actually a hybrid between those two classes.
Wow, that is absolutely cool. She's a beautiful ship. Absolutely beautiful ship. She's in Alaska right now. So, I mean, if you want to go sail, and what I will say, somebody reached out to me. Actually, it's Controversial Cruising reached out to me, and we were looking at, he wanted an interior, like every sailing, the interior and the ocean view were sold out except for 2 in Alaska.
There's not a lot of
very
interiors.
popular ship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's not, that's why they're doing this one in Alaska, because there's not a lot of interiors. And let me set the expectations here for an Alaska cruise.
Oh, he's setting some expectations. I don't know where this is going, y'all.
This one loves an interior room, and I love the interior rooms as well. They're pitch black, they're dark, they're quiet, they're great. We got an offer when we did Alaska last year to get an upgrade for a really great rate to go to a balcony room. And let me tell you, the balcony room was fantastic because we didn't have to really go out on the balcony to enjoy the scenery of Alaska, but we still had that great Alaskan experience. I don't know. What did you think about that? Still don't like it?
So when we were on the balcony, every single time we were on the balcony, so we were on the starboard. Right? Were we on port?
Yeah,
I don't remember where we were. I've been on a few rooms since. We were on
50 guests here.
It is.
Every time we would be out on the balcony, the naturalist would come on board and say, on the starboard side, there are breaching whales every single time. And so what we ended up finally doing is just going out to the public decks so that we had the full vista view, the full view of the ocean, because every time we would miss it.
And it's really funny too, because you see like the whole ship runs to the side and then they run to that. And that's just like, I think that's worth the price of admission of going to Alaska.
It is.
It is so true.
So the way to do Alaska, we did it. We had an aft balcony, literally right on the very back of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, where you really see things, and if you guys ever go back up to Alaska, I know we're talking about Carnival, but I encourage everybody to go to Carnival's sister line, which is Princess, and do a land sea tour, because Princess has like 5 of their own lodges on land, and that's where you see the bears, the moose, the owls, like all the babies, the caribou. It's when you're on land for 7 days and you get to see a lot of that stuff. So Alaska is truly brilliant. A cruise is fantastic, but if you got the wherewithal to do a land sea tour, that's the way to go up in Alaska.
Oh yeah,
nice.
That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
Nice, really, really nice. So now I'm off topic, but that's okay. That's okay.
That is okay. And now I know there's a 3-in-1 jacket that I've got to look for, Walter, for our next travel. Because I
watch my TikTok, man. Watch my TikTok, man. I'm telling you, the one we have is LL Bean, but multiple people make. And what's really cool is you got the inner liner, which is warm. You got the outer windbreaker and rain jacket, which is much lighter. And then you put the two together and it's really warm, you know, and that's totally how you do it. And you got to have one of those for Alaska.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
But you actually brought up something that I bet a lot of people don't know about when you were talking about the relocation to Singapore to go ahead and go into dry dock, and that is the Carnival Journeys. And I'm willing to bet there are many people out there who have absolutely no idea that Carnival has, here, I actually got some of them right here. What Carnival Journeys are is a minimum of 9 nights, and they run past 30, like Rocky just said. That one down to Singapore is going to be absolutely ridiculous. But just listen to some of these right here. It's probably the ship coming back, but 25 days Trans-Pacific Singapore to Los Angeles, 22 days Trans-Pacific Seattle to Sydney, Australia, 10 days New Zealand to Sydney, Australia, 11 days Papua New Guinea to Brisbane, Australia. Did you have any idea Carnival was doing any of this? 15 days Barcelona to New York, 15 days Hawaii to Seattle. There's that Alaska cruise. Check this out. The Venezia is not just going to be doing these short cruises. I've got a 15-day Southern Caribbean from Manhattan. That's going to be a hell of a cruise. That's going to be absolutely amazing. And then 31 days Trans-Pacific Brisbane to Seattle with Juneau and Ketchikan.
Wow.
This is Carnival, people. This is not, this is not Regent Seven Seas or, somebody or Viking. This is Carnival actually doing some of these amazing journeys. So you're about to be on a journey, Mark.
Yes, it's going to be an exciting journey for sure. I think one of my favorite journeys that I've ever done, one of my favorite journey sailings ever, was the Panama Canal sailing from Los Angeles over to Miami. Just such It's such a cool. I did that one with my brother, and he literally said, Walter, he said, I don't know if 7 days is going to be long enough anymore on a cruise, because 15 days is just like you just truly disconnect, you relax. It was just an amazing journey. We've done journeys as well because we got the pins. What was our
Splendor? We did the Splendor 9 days.
Where was that too?
The Splendor? That was Antigua, St. Kitts, San Juan.
Those were cool.
Nice. Those were cool ports.
Yeah, our longest so far is only 14 days. I mean, this is way. We had this discussion earlier this week when we were talking about, what are we going to talk about? And it's like, 7 days anymore just isn't even long enough. Gosh, I was on the Virgin Scarlet Lady for 5 nights. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
We're leaving? What the hell, man? We just got on the ship. It's just not. That's why I'm so glad we're doing 8 nights in November. We're actually going to have time to enjoy the restaurants, to enjoy each other, and all of that. But yeah, these journeys, I mean, if you've been looking for something different and you've been doing the Caribbean or you've been doing the Mexican Riviera, or even if you've done Alaska, know that you don't necessarily have to step up to the Vikings and everybody else to do some of these crazy long journeys. Carnival is repositioning ships, and they're offering, I'm telling you, Christine, if you're watching, if you're going around Cape Horn with a frenzy, you've got 3 people watching right now who are going to book on that cruise because it's going to be insanity.
That's a journey. That's a journey right
there.
That
is a journey.
that is a journey and a half, I think, right? I think so. So guys, we've been talking almost an hour already.
I mean,
that was a fast hour.
It just when you're talking about cruising, it just seems to fly by, doesn't it?
Just cruises by.
It just
flies by. It really does. And we're gonna have to try to do a live. I've had good luck doing live streams from the Scarlet Lady, so we're gonna have to try Valiant Lady, like actually live stream IRL.
Yes,
that's awesome.
That'll be totally awesome, guys. So we've been talking for an hour. I hope you guys are going to subscribe to This Cruise Life. You can see their little hashtag or their little @ right down there. You guys tell us again where all you are, because you're obviously here on YouTube, but where all are you guys?
So we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest. We have a website where we write blogs.
I love that he says Pinterest, because we have one pin. We don't really know what we're doing on this whole Pinterest thing.
But you're on it, man. You're there.
We're there. We've got that. We've got the @ when the whole, when the whole rumor, Walter, I think it was you that was posting about, when Twitter was going to go away. We joined some of those other channels that we joined. So we've registered the This Cruise Life in multiple places, but we're not as active on all of them.
Right. Yeah, I'm most active on YouTube, TikTok. Obviously, TikTok is where my biggest audience is. But like you, I'm over on Mastodon. I'm on Twitter. Obviously, I think we met on Twitter actually. All of us right here. So I think that's one of the coolest things that I don't think people realize. If they all think like, well, I'm trying to beat you in subscribers, you're trying to beat us in subscribers, and it's like in the cruise community, it's like we're all like helping each other. We're all rooting for each other because it really is a nice community.
I mean, we just were with JNS Adventures, like as I mentioned last week, a week and a half ago, and it was on our journey to 1,000, and they literally our biggest cheerleaders to say, hey, how do we help get This Cruise Life there? And so you're absolutely right, Walter, that we felt so. I think, honestly, I registered This Cruise Life, the handle for Twitter, back in 2020, started up the website in 2020 when cruising was stopped, because I wanted to keep the love alive and keep the passion alive. And the community we've found, I would never had, if you were to say, what's something that's unexpected that's happened, I would never have expected to find the community we found. We're sailing actually with JNS Adventures on the Jubilee. I have to bring it up on the Jubilee. So this
check it out.
That's the original Jubilee. So the MS Jubilee from Carnival Cruise Lines back in the day. And so
cool.
Just the folks, we're sailing with you on Valiant Lady here for Thanksgiving. We're
balconies are still available. Contact me if you want to join us November 18th through the 26th on the Valiant Lady. Okay, Mark, go. Keep going.
That's all of us. You would be joining all of us.
Yeah.
How could you not join the sailing now that the 3 of us and Rebecca. Are going to be there.
Of course.
Are going to be there.
Rebecca's going to be there. And hopefully Stephanie from the Shauna Steph channel. We're hoping we're going to get her on board the ship as well. So we've got 14 cabins. We've got 28 people coming. You guys are going to be there. We've got a 30th wedding anniversary. We've got an 80th birthday party in the group, and it's Thanksgiving. So
it's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be a fun time just hanging out with you guys. I'm so honored that we're able to hang out. I know we haven't actually met in person, but I really feel like I know you guys. I think you guys are amazing for what you do for the cruise community. You share so much. I know Carnival is like your thing. And I love, that you guys are so deep in the Carnival because, Carnival does take the brunt of a lot of jokes and they really shouldn't. And I just love that you guys are like, you know what? This is what Carnival really is. It's a good cruise line. And it really is. It's a great cruise line.
It is.
It's a great cruise line, and it's a lot of fun. When people ask, hey, I'm thinking between Carnival and Royal Caribbean, what I always say is you're not going to go wrong. You're not going to go wrong on a cruise, in my opinion. Now, there are people out there that are like, oh, if you sail Carnival or if you sail Royal or if you sail fill in the blank, truly, it depends on what you're looking to do. It depends on kind of the itineraries, the ships, are you looking to ride a roller coaster on a cruise ship? Well, then Mardi Gras and Carnival Celebration, those are your and soon to be Jubilee. Those are your spaces. So it just all depends on what you're looking for in your vacation. And I think I personally think we've had a blast on every line we've sailed. Yeah. We've just really enjoyed the family feel that Carnival brings.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. And Controversial Cruising just said it. I don't cruise companies. I cruise ships. I mean, that's just the way it is. Quote. And if somebody says you've got to sail XYZ, it's because they like it and they want you to like it too. But you just go find the right ship that works for you and try them all. Just try them all. They're so fun. The crew is amazing. We're going on MSC Seaside 67. I mean, we're gonna try it. I'm not scared. We're going to try it. I'm excited. I just like going on cruise ships. So, just get out there and cruise and have some fun.
Yes, that's 100%.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Everybody, make sure that you subscribe to these guys, This Cruise Life, okay? And I'm going to pop up a graphic real quick. Don't go anywhere just yet. I'm going to pop up a graphic real quick just to remind everybody that next week, Tony's popping up from Lolita Loca, so we're all going to learn how to do this correctly, right? We're all going to learn how to do that correctly. But make sure that you go there. Wait, where are you guys? Come back. There you are. Got it. I'm trying to remember how to use StreamYard. It's been a while. But guys, thanks so very much for coming on. Make sure everybody subscribes. If you see these guys on a ship, buy them a drink, buy them something just to say hi.
I like that. Yeah, it was great. We've been watching the chat come through over here. I mean, it's again, that's another thing that we love about fellow cruisers is this community. We have lots of questions. Oh, and look at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's amazing.
I appreciate that. That's very kind.
I love that.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, and now I'm covering up your banner. There it is. The screen. All right, guys. I think we need to wrap this up. It's been about an hour. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us out there. And for those of you watching on the replay, I mean, thank you so much for sticking through this. And we will be back. I'll be back next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to try and do it every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Mark will be getting ready to fly over to Europe right around that time. So make sure you're following along with This Cruise Life on all of their social channels, because I'm sure Mark is just going to blow it up the moment you get on the plane from here. Like it's going to be nonstop from the moment you leave, right?
So maybe don't turn on notifications. I'm kidding.
Please do.
Turn on notifications.
Keep them off. Keep them off until he's done with the cruise, then turn them back on. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're signing off for tonight, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Rocky and Mark, you have a great evening.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Bye, everyone.